I'm doing two presentations today and the title's been switched over. So this one is actually, no, it's okay. This one is actually looking about where is menstruation in global health policy, then the social norms one will be this afternoon. So hi, my name is Josephine McAllister. I'm a first year PhD student at the University of Bath, and I'm presenting a paper today focused on where is menstruation in global health policy. So menstruation is receiving an unprecedented level of attention in research and policy, and there are many normative arguments being furthered about how it should be understood and framed as an issue of health, hygiene, rights or justice, to name a few. But less attention has been given to the preceding step, how it actually is currently understood at the level of global health policy. We adopt Carol Bacchi's "What is the problem?" approach to critical frame analysis to consider how menstruation is framed in key global health policy documents. Bacchi argues that policy problems and solutions are not objective entities already existing in the world, but are socially and discursively constructed. In her words, every policy proposal contains an explicit or implicit diagnosis of the problem. She argues that we need to shift from analysing policies as attempted solutions to problems to viewing policies as consisting of competing interpretations. We therefore need to ask not just what the problem is, but how is it framed and how is it constructed by policymakers and their language. In this paper, we provide a roadmap of where menstruation sits within global health policy. We ask specifically, where is menstruation in global health policy? How is it understood? And which sectors and frames dominate? We focus on the international institutional level, restricting our analysis to UN bodies and institutions which focus on women and health. Primarily, the WHO, UNICEF, UNFPA, the UN Commission on the Status of Women, and the World Bank. We also consider the Guttmacher-Lancet Commission due to its international renown and influence. We focus on these organisations as they set the tone for broader health policy and global discourse on women's rights. They're hugely influential in setting objectives such as sustainable development goals and the allocation of funding. So we recovered key documents, content and press releases from these websites and conducted keyword searches to understand where menstruation is, if it is even mentioned, and how it is framed. So we found that menstruation now clearly is present within global health policy discourse, but this is a relatively recent phenomenon, with most policies and outputs dating back to 2019. In many cases, menstruation is not mentioned or only mentioned in passing, and where it is, it's mainly framed as a hygiene issue, demonstrating the continued dominance of the wash sector. It's largely framed as an issue that impacts adolescent girls, particularly in relation to their education, and a life course perspective is absent. Gender inclusivity is uncommon, although it does appear in some documents. However, there is evidence of change, with a health and rights framing emerging from some organisations, particularly the UNFPA and WHO, and there's evidence of cross-sectoral responses appearing. We argue, therefore, that attention to menstruation is relatively muted at the level of global health policy, but there is little cohesive understanding, with competing framings appearing. As such, there is no one clear way in which it is understood. There are significant silences, in particular menopause, menstrual-related illnesses, and the inclusion of menstruation within sexual and reproductive health and rights. We note that it's clearly possible, of course, for menstruation to be framed in multiple ways, as it encompasses issues of hygiene, health, rights, the environment, education, and so on. What we have attempted to do here is highlight the dominant framings that exist at the level of global health policy, but recognise that there is awareness from these documents that cross-sectoral approaches are needed. To conclude, we argue that without a collective understanding of the problem, solutions risk remaining siloed and cross-sectoral work will be difficult. We're planning to submit this as a paper to a journal later this year and welcome any feedback. Thank you.